The world was lost in sin, and a great flood was coming to wash away the darkness. But one man, Noah, stood faithful. God commanded him to build a massive ark as a sanctuary for life. As the skies grew dark, a miracle unfolded. From every corner of the earth, animals arrived 2 by 2, guided by a divine hand to safety. Once the door was sealed, the fountains of the deep broke open, and the world was submerged under a relentless storm. For 40 days, the ark drifted in a silent, watery world until the rain finally stopped. A dove returned with an olive branch, signaling a new beginning and a promise of peace. Today, the rainbow remains a symbol of that hope. If you believe in miracles, subscribe to Dev Diaries for more biblical journeys. Stay blessed. For many years, the sound of Noah's hammer echoed through the land. He worked tirelessly, following every divine instruction to build a ship of massive proportions. People gathered to watch, not to help, but to mock. They laughed at the idea of a flood while standing on dry ground. But Noah's faith was unshakable. Then, the laughter stopped when a miracle began. From the thickest forests and the widest plains, animals of all kinds started to appear. They came in pairs, moved by a silent power that no one could explain. Lions, elephants, and creatures great and small marched toward the ark, seeking shelter from the unseen storm. The time for mercy was ending, and the time for salvation had begun. One by one, the last of the creatures entered the sanctuary. The air grew heavy, and the sky turned a dark, eerie shade of purple. As the final animal stepped inside, a powerful, invisible hand reached down and sealed the massive wooden door. The mocking crowds grew silent as the first heavy drops of rain began to fall. Suddenly, the heavens split wide open. Lightning streaked across the dark sky like golden fire, and the ground beneath began to tremble and crack. The fountains of the deep burst forth with incredible force, and water began to rise from every direction. It was a moment of absolute terror for those outside, but inside the ark, there was a strange, divine peace. The massive ship began to lift, floating for the first time as the entire world was slowly swallowed by the rising, unstoppable tide. For 40 days and nights, the roar of the thunder was the only sound heard across the vast, empty ocean that the earth had become. After weeks of relentless waves and darkness, the rain finally began to fade away. The sun broke through the thick clouds for the first time, reflecting off a world covered in silence and water. The ark came to rest on the rugged peaks of Mount Ararat. To see if the land was dry enough, Noah released a gentle dove into the sky. The first time, the dove returned, finding no place to rest. But when it was sent out again, it returned with a fresh olive branch in its beak. This was the long-awaited signal life was finally returning to the earth. Noah opened the massive door, and as the animals stepped out onto the clean, fresh soil, a vibrant rainbow arched across the entire sky. It was a divine promise of peace and a fresh start for all of humanity. The storm had passed, and a new world had begun. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you believe in second chances, subscribe to Dev Diaries.